We've got one or two people that would like to see this, just weren't able to attend. So this video will be circulated a little bit. So first of all, welcome. This is, it took a lot of energy and time and dedication to get to where you are today. So please recognize, I want to recognize all of you for all the activity that you've done. I'll start off by introducing myself, and then maybe we can quickly go around the room and tell everyone who we are and how we ended up at Keller Williams Roswell. And my goal for today is really to get to know you guys a little bit better. And then, of course, share some information about the productivity coaching program that I run each day, and help you understand why it's in place, kind of what the weekly rhythm is, right? How it can help you as you're building your business from either launching it, which is the case for several of you, or relaunching it, or really just want to take it to the next level. So we'll go through all those details too. My name is Bill Linkwald. I have been in the business for about 15 and a half years or so. I was at Metro Brokers for about 5.5 years at the very beginning of my business, and became one of their top agents, and then moved over to Keller Williams. In 2 weeks will be 10 years that I've been at the Keller Williams Roswell office. I built a small team at the office, have a full-time assistant, Pam Sliger, who is part of the productivity coaching program, and I'll put her up against anybody in the market center on contracts. That woman is phenomenal with contracts. Okay, Pam Sliger. She and I have helped a bunch of buyers and sellers over the years, and about 4 years ago, when I stepped into leadership, she basically took over my team and runs it to this day. Middle of 2018, I became the team leader for the Market Center. Was the team leader for about 1.5 years, and right before COVID came in mid-February, I moved to the productivity coaching role, and have built the program from about a week before COVID started, really, and have built that. We're at 47 agents in the program right now, agents of all productivity and experience levels, just dedicating themselves, working hard every day to take their business to the next level. So I feel like I'm a pretty learning-based person. I've taken pretty much every class Keller Williams offers, most of them multiple times. Have had the experience of helping many buyers and sellers, from growing a team, from hiring the right people, hiring the wrong people, and certainly have plenty of practice navigating buyer and seller conversations, as well as also spent a significant amount of time in the kind of the recruiting role, growth of the productivity coaching program, and of course of the Market Center. So let's do this real fast. Zach, you're in the upper left corner of my screen, so why don't you tell us who you are?
All right, I'm Zach White. I own the Brewsters in Roswell. Have owned it for 4 years now, but I'm just kind of looking to do something else part-time now that I have more free time. Tom Curtin, I worked with him. He hired me some to do events for him at Alive After 5, to give out ice cream to kind of advertise his team. When I told him I was looking to join real estate, he's the one who talked me into coming to Keller Williams.
Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tanisha, you're next.
Hello, my name is Tanisha Williams. I am pretty much new to the real estate world. Primarily, I've been working as an account executive in the group benefits industry, just kind of looking to change careers, if you will. Just kind of been a little bored here in the last couple of years in the group benefit space. So just looking for change, good change, that is. I was introduced to Keller Williams by actually a current agent that's working with the Roswell office, Lena Efremua, I think her last name is.
Yep.
Actually met her, my husband and I met her at an open house where we're actually in the market of looking for a home for ourselves. And we just instantly connected, and she told me about the Roswell office and had great things to say. And that's why you're speaking with me now.
Beautiful. She
So
probably didn't let you out of her sight before you.
she
signed everything.
didn't. She didn't.
Fine,
She's
didn't
awesome.
lock the door. We're doing paperwork.
Right, exactly.
Love it. Welcome. Glad
Thank
you're here.
you. Thank you.
Scott, tell us who you are.
All right. Hi, I'm Scott Bowden. Very new agent, just got my license yesterday. So I am joining Keller Williams thanks, with, I guess I came here because my son Ethan is already here. We're going to be teaming up. My background, I was a director in the international tax practice at PricewaterhouseCoopers and Big Four accounting during COVID and for other reasons is starting to people are migrating away from that career-wise. So I thought it would make sense to explore real estate, and we'll be digging into it. I'll be in full-time now that it's sort of a big career change for me.
Beautiful.
And happy to be here.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. All right, Roxanne.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes. I've been in real estate for 15 years and I just made a change from Caldwell Banker to the awesome Roswell office at Keller Williams. I am very impressed with the leadership there. It was Aubrey and Bill who just was inputting in my life, and I wasn't even with Keller Williams. It was coaching me, and I was just so impressed of who they are. And you know, you want to be with people who are on the right direction and have positive things for you to look at and to build your business, not just be an agent, you know, but to build your business. And they really impressed me. That's why I'm here. That's why I made the change.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm super excited to watch all the, you've got a ton of passion, and I'm really excited to watch it just continue to flourish and have your business grow. Okay, Joanne.
Hey everyone, I'm Joanne Mahoney, and I own my own wellness center for the last 7 years, and realized that I really love sales, and I wanted to do something different with that. So I switched gears and decided to get my real estate license. Thought helping people de-stress during a stressful process would put my skills to good use, and got licensed in July. And I was with Atlanta Fine Homes, Sotheby's International Realty for 3 months when I realized it really wasn't a great fit for me. And I'm good friends with Elena Corbett. So she was like, hey, you need to come to Keller Williams Roswell. And here I am.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we have kind of a mixture of some people that are new to real estate and have been in the real estate business for a long time. One thing that I heard almost from everybody is that, you know, business ownership, right? If there's one message that I want to make sure is crystal clear, is you must think of yourself as a business owner. You must, okay? Not only are we, you know, I like to say sometimes we can split the real estate business into 3 parts: lead generation, operations, sales, okay? This is super oversimplified, but lead generation is everything that happens until you get a contract. Operations is basically everything that happens after you get a contract. And sales is the functions of who meets with the prospects, right? Buyers, agents, listing agents, that kind of thing. For all of you guys as being single solo agents that now own your sales business, you got all of those jobs, right? You're in charge of bringing all the clients in. You're in charge of all the administrative, marketing, paperwork, bookkeeping, putting the signs in the ground, runners, all that. And you're also the showing agent slash buyer's agent slash buyer's agent's assistant slash listing agent slash listing agent's assistant, all of it. But one of the roles that most of us forget that we also have is that we also own the place. We're also the CEO. And oftentimes we spend way too much time in the business, and it prevents us from thinking like the business owner. And every once in a while, to get out of the worker bee mentality and go be the queen bee and say, how's my worker bee doing down there? Do they have all the tools and technology and systems and support and coaching and training that they need, right? What can I do to make this better or easier or more efficient for my worker, right? Which happens to be you at the moment, right? So I want you all to be thinking about, this is a business where it's a blend between the number of relationships you have and how deep those relationships are. It is a mathematical certainty almost that if you talk to a certain number of people, you will get a chance to present to a certain number of people. And if you present to a certain number of people, you will get a certain number of contracts signed and you will sit at a certain number of closing tables. Okay. The reason why people oftentimes are not overwhelmingly successful is because they struggle with the discipline required to do the monotony of success, right? Of putting on your headset and saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again until you can get in front of somebody and pitch your opportunity, right? Does that resonate with you guys?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, if you got some questions, just raise your hand, shout out. We'll hopefully touch on a bunch of stuff today. So I want to make sure, you know, one of the concepts that I've been talking a lot about lately with our productivity coaching group is this idea of what I would call two departments. Okay. So one of the most important things you can do right now is to have control over your calendar and to make sure that the stuff that you're doing each day in your calendar is in alignment with the activities you must do to stay on track. Okay, so when everyone hopefully joins the program and gets started, we're going to spend some private time together working through your specific financial goals and your goals outside of real estate, right? I want to make sure that we get crystal clear on what it is we're trying to accomplish, why it is we're trying to accomplish that stuff, right? The next thing we're going to do is show you the plan, right? So Scott, if you do this, this, and this, then you'll get that, okay? And the final thing is getting you to commit basically to introducing accountability into your world so that if I see you not doing what we agreed needed to get done to hit your goals, it's not that I like lay into you or embarrass you publicly or, you know, kick you out of the group. It's that I put my arm around you and say, hey, Scott, this is what I'm seeing. And we know that the results of these activities are going to be less than the results that you're seeking. Is there anything that's going on in your personal life that I should be aware of that's preventing you from staying on track? And you would say, well, yeah, blah, blah, blah is sick. I say, cool, you got all the grace you need. What can I do to help you? Right? And you say, no, nothing's going on in my life. And I say, okay, well, are those still your goals? Right? Is that stuff still important to you? Something,
Last 2 hours.
right?
Mhm.
And if that's the case, then I just, you know, kind of guide you right back to where you need to go. Hey, let's evaluate your schedule. What's distracting you? What's getting in your way? What are you struggling with? Is there a new skill you need to develop? Do we need to meet more people? What's up with it, right? So we divide the kind of the real estate business into two, let's just call them kind of arenas or departments. The first arena is basically everything that you've got to learn. Okay, that's all the technology, that's how to search for homes, how to price homes, how to present to buyers and sellers, the scripts, the dialogues, use of the technology, all the systems, all of the stuff you've got to learn, right? The market trends, stats, all that. The other department is your database. It's who you're going to share all that information with. We don't want you to go in one direction or the other and not focus on the other one. So for example, we don't want you to get ready to get ready to get ready to think about getting ready to get ready to think about getting ready to never call anyone. Or what will happen is you will be really smart at a technology system in the scripts that people use in real estate, yet you don't have enough money to stay in real estate. That's not going to serve you or me or anyone or your clients well, okay? So we need to balance out the learning with the growth of the database in our activities within the marketplace. We also don't want to just go into the marketplace and start, you want to buy something, want to sell something, want to buy something, want to sell something, because then we'll just get ourselves in trouble and we won't represent our clients the way they deserve to be represented. So one of my chief objectives is to make sure that your calendar clearly has time for both every day, right? By the time your head hits the pillow at the end of the night, you should be asking yourself two questions. The first question is, am I a smarter agent than when I woke up this morning, right? Am I better at presentations? Do I know a new script? Did I learn a new piece of technology? Am I better at something? Do I understand the market or the tools or the technologies, the systems better than before, right? And you should say to yourself, yes, I'm learning based. I go to work every day with the hopes of learning stuff, okay? And the second question you should ask yourself is there anybody in the universe that did not know that I was in real estate this morning that now might come to me should they have a question? Doesn't matter if they want to buy or sell. We'll get to that eventually, okay? I want to be the resource for any type of real estate related question they got. And I don't even care if they call me about something other than real estate, right? Hey, I figured you're a real estate agent. You probably know a CPA. I do, right? You probably know an insurance agent. I do. You probably know a life insurance agent. I can help you with that. You know, I need a roofer, a plumber, a painter, a carpenter, whatever. I don't want anyone in my world to make a real estate decision without first speaking to me. Make sense? So that's the attitude that I want you guys to have as you are growing your business is, look, I've got a lot of cool tools. I got great information. I got access to the #1 training organization in the world. And if you choose to work with somebody other than me, there is a chance that you might not win as great as you deserve to win, or you may not get a good enough deal and I could have helped you get something better, right? When you make a phone call and you're passionate about what you can share with them, it is incredibly clear and people want to work with people like that. Make sense? Okay, beautiful. Any questions so far? All right, I want to read the mission statement of the productivity coaching program to you guys. Okay, our mission is to create a community of learning-based and purpose-driven leaders focused together on accelerating the trajectory of our businesses and the quality of our lives. Using the powerful leverage of Keller Williams models, systems, and technology, we intend to create abundant lives for ourselves and for those we support. Okay, so that is sufficiently vague in some respects and sufficiently very clear and focused in other respects, right? Of the literally thousands of agents that I've been in touch with in my time, they pretty much all got into the business for the same reason. And you guys echoed many of these things, right? They want more income, more time, more flexibility, more options. You know, I want to control my time. I want to control my income. I want to control my future, these kind of things. So would everyone agree with those concepts? So in my experience, there's only been 2 things that you got to master in order to have a phenomenal quality of life. The first is you've got to control the lead flow. Okay. If you want to close 20 units, you can't just sit around and say, where are my leads? You got to go out and hunt. Okay. There's lots of ways to hunt, but you cannot sit still and wait for them to trickle in. Okay. If you're reliant on some website or some broker or some other entity for your leads, you will get exactly what you get and you won't have any control over it. The only way you're going to control your income is to take a stand and say, I know the metrics of how to be successful in this business. I have a goal to hit this income goal, and I know exactly what my activities are, and we're going to obviously walk through that. And if I do it, I'll hit that number. But if I sit around and wait for somebody else to feed me, I don't know if I'll get fed enough. Make sense? And eventually you're going to wake up one day after, you know, essentially doing what we tell you to do, and you're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm slammed, where my quality of life is getting threatened. And it's at that exact moment where you say, well, I guess I need some help. Is there anybody that's ever hired anyone around here? Are there any systems and models? Right, Zach, are you the one that cleans the place in the morning, cleans the place at night, scoops all the ice cream, rings up everyone, orders all the signs, orders all the milk and all that stuff?
Sorry, I mean, no, I do not.
Okay, so is it fair to say that if you were that person, that only person, one of 2 things would happen. Either you wouldn't be able to sell nearly as much ice cream, or you'd be delivering crappy service.
Yep. Or both.
Or both, right? So if you desire to grow, you're going to need to grow with the help of others, right? So we certainly have programs and systems, and I've been there, and I can help you with that stuff. Okay, all that resonate?
Yes.
All right, shout out if you got any questions or issue. My main objective to kind of boil it down, what is the primary thing that I do is I am the one that helps you navigate all the stuff that's coming at you. Okay. For all of you guys that are either new to the business or new to Keller Williams, it's going to feel really overwhelming for a while. Okay. There are a lot of curriculums. There's a lot of technology. There's a lot of classes. There's a lot of leaders. Everyone is trying to pour into you. And it's sometimes very difficult to figure out, what do I do first? What do I do second? I don't, what do I do here? Right. That's one of my primary jobs, is to say, all right, Zach, do that today. All right, Zach, you can wait 3 weeks on that. Okay, Zach, you can completely ignore that. Okay, Zach, go back to that class in a year, right? Today we're focused on this, right? It's really guiding you through how to be efficient and on pace and doing things in the order that's going to provide the best results for you. Okay, I'm essentially your partner in the business. This is going to feel pretty overwhelming, right? I want to make sure that you don't feel like you're doing this alone, helping you understand what's most important. Not many people are going to be any more vested in your success than me. And that's primarily based off of the way that I'm compensated, which we'll come to in a second. Okay. Many of you guys have probably read this book. If you have not read this book, I highly recommend that you get this book. You can get it on kellerinc.com. You can get it on Amazon. You can get the what do you call it? The audio book on YouTube for free. It's basically a blueprint on how to build a successful real estate business. Okay. And in a nutshell, there's 4 models. The first model is the economic model. The economic model basically connects the dots between your income goals and your daily activities. For example, if you want to make 100 grand, then we know that you need to do, let's say, I have a kind of a little program that's set 4 appointments a month. So set an appointment a week, go on 3 each month, close 2 or take 2, take the listing, get the exclusive agreement, and then close 1. You close 1 property at your standard prices in this area with your typical commissions, you're going to make over 6 figures. Okay. All you got to do is go on not even 1 appointment a week, right? But you got to do it consistently and you should be over 6 figures. You can achieve that part-time, full-time, makes no difference. I fully believe that all of y'all are capable of that. Okay. So the idea is it takes the goal and it breaks it down into how many appointments do we need? How many contacts do we need to make, etc. So let's just say we need to go on 36 appointments in the course of the next 12 months. So now we look at the lead generation model, which is to say, where are all those people going to come from, right? So first we look at your database, we see how large your database is compared to what your financial goals are. And we basically look to say, what's more important, going deep with the people that already know us and like us and trust us, or doing that and growing it, right? So I spoke to somebody this morning that had a goal to sell like, was it 30 units a year? Yet their database was only like 150 people. So it's not, I'm not saying it's not possible, but you're gonna have to build a database well beyond 150 people in order to close anywhere close to 30 units, right? So looking at those 2 things next to each other, we can identify what the biggest pain point is and then create a strategy that we're gonna knock it out of the park, okay? So then we say, okay, well, which ways do you wanna lead generate, right? Open houses, pay-per-clicks, social media, sphere of influence, business to business, cold calls, whatever it is, right? And we create a strategy and a game plan based on your desires, the ways that you want to grow your business. And it's tied to deadlines and metrics so that you can make sure all the time that you're staying on task. Okay. The next model is the budget model, right? Now we're starting to look like a business here. We got plenty of money coming in and plenty of money leaving. We just want to make sure that everything has been happening in the appropriate ratios. Okay. And the final model is the organizational model, which we kind of started with, which was, okay, we got a lot of jobs being done here. Am I doing all the jobs still, right? At some point, some of those jobs are going to be occupied by somebody that you've brought into your world that enjoys doing that job and is probably better at it than you are, right? Like, I don't want to make a flyer. I don't have the creativity to make a flyer. It gives me no satisfaction. I don't have the right piece of technology to do it, and I don't want to do it. Yet, I know it's important. I know it's got to get done, so I need to pay somebody to do it. Make sense? So we're going to walk through those models, and we're going to have a really crystal clear plan on how you, let's say, Joanne, pull off your goals. So it's super, super clear. If you do the following activities each day or each week or each month, you're on task. If you don't, you're not on task. And, would you rather be told that you're off task, December 20th, when you say, hey, I know you wanted to make 100 this year, but it looks like your activities have caused you to have results of 35, right? The question is like, what's that mean? Does that mean I can't stay in my home? Does that mean I can't get out of debt? Does that mean I can't send my kid to school? Like, these are some serious things. Real estate has some incredible potential, but we want to be always aware of where we're at. Okay. So we're going to walk through those models all together. The end result of that is you're going to have a schedule that is in alignment with your goals, right? Now, we say God, family, business, and I'm not trying to be boastful here, but there is probably no one in the market center that rings more true with. Okay. You are never going to hear from me, more work, more work, more work. Okay. I don't get any satisfaction from that. Okay. I want you to get whatever is important to you. Okay. It is not about missing dinners with your family. It is not about working weekends. It is helping you build the exact life you want so that you can enjoy it, right? So you can enjoy it. The very, very first time that I let somebody show a property for me, the very first time was the day my first kid crawled. I would have missed that. You see what I'm saying? So I want you guys to have that awareness as you're building this business, because it can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And many of us who have owned businesses before, we've been there, most likely. Is that true? All right. I see a lot of head shaking. Okay. Let me give you a kind of a bit of a rhythm of the week, a feeling for kind of the rhythm of the week. Okay. Our group is about 47 people right now. I would say that about 3/4 of the group, maybe a little bit more than 3/4 of the group, are agents that are what I would call launch agents. They're either brand new to the business or they've been in the business for a handful of months. They're still getting kind of their feet wet, building their systems, building their habits, building their skills, all that. Probably about 0 units to 3 units per year. Units, house, same thing. Okay. We have another group that we call growth. That's 4 units and up. Okay. Each one of those groups has a mastermind weekly. Everything is on Zoom, by the way. Everything is on Zoom right now. The mastermind is just an opportunity for you to get in a room with like-minded people that are encountering similar things. And we want to talk about best practices and what people are doing well, what people are struggling with. The theme of the launch group right now is contracts. I want to make sure that you have complete confidence around contracts, how to put together an offer, how to negotiate, how to understand the nuances of how do we do this if we're working with a buyer, why would we do it differently if we're working with a seller, right? All the buyer brokerage agreements, listing agreements, amendments, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be spending a fair amount of time really honing in on the contract work. Okay, the theme, and you're welcome to come to either session, but the theme of the growth group right now is language skills, right? We know that you can either wing what you want to say, or you can say proven things that work, right? I'm not suggesting we're not talking about language of manipulation or anything like that. I've never figured out how to cause somebody to buy a home they don't want to buy. Okay, that's just not going to happen. Okay, yet when they tell you what their goals are and they're all over the place, your job is to keep the process moving. Make sense? And to handle their issues as they arise, or just completely eliminate them because you've taken a really educational approach to the situation. Okay, so we have 2 masterminds per week. Again, everything is on Zoom. Every day from 8:30 to 9, we have a group morning huddle. the themes of those group. We have a theme for each day. This past week, for example, on Monday, we did buyer checklists. This next Monday, we're doing seller checklists, right? So what happens when you get a deal under contract? Or what are the steps of working with the seller from the intake call to the closing table? One by one, by one, by one, by one. There's a fair amount of teaching in the class, but there's also some coaching as well. Okay, Tuesday, role play. Wednesday, we're working through a business plan for next year. Thursday, tomorrow, we're doing a class on language skills. Friday, we're doing some more role play. So we get together, we kind of get motivated, we share some positive news, some, what are we grateful for? We're celebrating successes. Somebody's having their first closing tomorrow. Somebody just took their first listing last week, these kind of things. Okay. And we are helping our agents start the day with momentum and with energy and with a smile. Okay. There is generally 1 to 2 kind of pop-up classes during the week. Okay. This upcoming week, we have a class on Get a Client Today. And we've had classes from anything about chart masters to buyer presentations, listing presentations, skill development, mindset, profit share, all kinds of stuff like that. Typically once a week, we have a top performer in the Market Center and sometimes outside of the Market Center come in and we interview them. This week, we've got Merle Land, who's coming in on Friday. She was one of the first agents, first 25 or 30 agents with Keller Williams in Atlanta, what was that, 21 years ago? And she's been in the business for 40 plus years. We're going to be interviewing her and learning more about how she's built her business and best practices and that kind of thing. Okay. We also do a 15-minute one-on-one weekly coaching session, again, over Zoom. So we're specifically looking at what have you done in the last 7 days to address the things that we determined needed the most attention, and what are we struggling with? What are we doing well? What's our game plan? What's our homework? Are we on task? Do we need what do we need to work on? What kind of distractions do we have? If we're celebrating successes, it's all high fives and thinking bigger, right? If we're off track and we're frustrated, then we're just trying to solve those issues as quickly as possible and keep the momentum going. Okay. Everything is recorded. So we have a private YouTube channel that it's got, basically from the very beginning. So a little over 7 months worth of training videos and morning huddles and classes. I mean, every topic you could probably imagine, from, presentations to mock offers to comping a home, listing presentations, buyer presentations, scripts, dialogues, objection handlers, profit share. The list goes on and on and on. We've got classes on all that, business planning, all the systems and models, all of that stuff. So you can go back and watch that. You have free access to that. We also have a private Google Drive that I've basically been dropping curriculums and checklists and marketing files and all kinds of stuff over the course of my career. And of course, my development of this group, you have private access to that. We have a couple WhatsApp groups, one for announcements, one for help. So if you're like, hey, where do I find this? Or, hey, who's your home inspector or something like that? All of us are ready to lead, to lend a hand. We also have a couple pieces of technology that are available outside of productivity coaching, but would of course cost money. One is called Cole Resource Realty. Cole is essentially an online directory. Think of it that way. So let's say I have an open house at 123 Hill Street, and I want to invite the 1,500 people that live closest to that property. I can get all their names and numbers and call them and invite them to the open house, or solicit their listing or their business, or tell them about a new listing, or hey, one just went under contract, or hey, this just sold. Who do you know that wants some help? That kind of thing. Okay, that service is about $1,200 a year if you were to buy it on the open market. We also have a system called Vulcan 7. Vulcan 7 is the premier resource for sale by owners, expired listings, and withdrawn listings. So that service updates every day. It's basically a data service. You log in, you can extract whatever data you want, and you can, print it out, dial it, put it into another dialer system, whatever it is, and start calling those people. That's about $350 a month outside of productivity coaching. It's free with productivity coaching. Any questions so far? Nope. Okay. Let's see. Okay. You're probably saying to yourself, what's all this cost? Right? So here's how the coaching works. Okay. It is different than your typical coaching. Your typical coaching, if you've ever, let's say, gone into a gym and wanted private coaching, you're basically paying the coach for their time, right? So it's like, hey, you show up from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, that's going to be $80. You pay me. And when the check cashes, then I'll show you how to lift these weights. And whether you lose weight, that's on you. It's not results based at all. Okay. That is the exact opposite of what we do here. Okay. So what we do is you say, hey, this is a system that I'd like to engage in. There's a 2-page contract. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing funky going on. There's no long-term commitment. You can come and go as you please. If you, obviously, I'd like to begin a long-term relationship with you, right? But if you're not getting value, then there's no commitment or there's no requirement that you stay. Rather than sending me an email in the middle of the night saying I quit, my preference would be that you come to me and say, hey, Bill, I wish you did this, or I would stick around if you taught this, and give me an opportunity to cater the program to you. Okay, I'm very open to feedback, commentary, criticism, whatever. Okay. Okay, so you come into the program, you take advantage of all the tools, technology, community, WhatsApp, YouTube, Google Drive, all that stuff. And when you're successful, meaning when you have a closing, then the fee is 10% of the gross commission income. Okay. For a fiscal year, we cap that at $10,000. So for example, Zach, let's say you hop on the program this week. And so from the end of October of this year to the end of October of next year, the most that you would pay the productivity program is $10,000. If you make $60,000, I get 6. If you make $120,000, I get 10. Make sense? And then at the end of that fiscal year, you start over. You have an opportunity to determine if you want to, stay engaged in the program. Hopefully you would. And if you do, we start over. If you don't, then we part ways. Again, no requirement that you sign like a 6-month agreement or 1-year agreement or anything like that. Okay. My goal is every step of your progress, there's going to be new things you need to learn and new habits you're going to have to break and new habits that you're going to have to build. Right. And there's going to be new challenges that you face. We know that basically everyone in the world that is a high performer in their industry has some form of accountability. Right. Let's take basketball, for example. You think LeBron James shoots his first shot the first time he's passed the ball in the game for the day? You think he shows up at 7:45 for an 8 o'clock game? Maybe 7:45 in the morning, right? So he can lift some weights and get his, body rubbed down and, go to the chiropractor and, work on his diet and strength coach and all that kind of stuff. He's probably got 50 coaches. Make sense? I read somewhere the other day, he spends $1.5 million on his body every year. Think that's a good investment? I think that's a pretty good investment. Okay. So let's just take an example. You come into the group and you're engaging, and for whatever reason, it takes you a couple months to get a transaction. There's no fee until you have the transaction. Okay. Probably not so applicable to many of you, but we do have some instances where the fee could be less. If you come into the program and you have a pending transaction, you're just waiting for the deal to close, there's no fee. If you come into the program and you have an active buyer agency agreement or an active seller agency agreement, yet you don't have the property itself under contract, then you come into the program, it would be a reduced fee of 5%. Okay, if you come into the program and the next day you earn a listing, it's the normal fee. Okay, and it's basically the opposite if you were to leave. So if you are in the program and you've got a pending transaction and you're just waiting for it to close and you decide you don't want to be in the program anymore, you could leave the program, you'd still pay the 10% on that deal. If you leave the program with an active buyer or an active seller, yet the home itself is not under contract, 5%. And if you leave the program and the next day you earn a listing, it's all yours. Make sense? Okay, we also do weekly reporting. So we have a shared spreadsheet where each week you're going to log the number of hours you spent lead generating, practicing, in command, the contacts you make each week, the database ads you have each week, the total appointments set and held each week, how many of those were sellers, how many times did you take the listing, did you write any offers, did you pin any transactions, and did you have any closings or have any GCI, gross commission income. The reason why we do that is so we can have accountability, right? If you don't, it's kind of like, you know, everything has numbers, right? You go to the doctor and they take your blood so they can know what level everything is at. If they see that something's out of whack, they're going to run more tests, right? So what we're doing is we're evaluating, you know, Joanne, how's your business? You know, here's an example of something I might see in your numbers. Looks like you generated 25 contacts this week, yet it took you 10 hours to do it. So I can tell you right off the bat, you're on the phone for too long with these people. You're not as efficient as you should be, right? Or maybe you had 80 contacts, but you only added 2 people to the database. Even if you're calling people within your database, you should probably end up with more referrals from 80 contacts. So you're probably not asking for a referral, right? Or if you set 10 appointments and only hold 3, there's some kind of gap going, there's something going on there. You either didn't close right, didn't set the expectations right, you didn't provide enough value in that initial conversation. That's a different coaching moment than if, let's say, you went on 10 appointments, but you only took 3. So when I'm working with you individually, I can analyze your numbers and basically right off the bat, figure out where we need to focus our energy. And I can also take the group of, you know, close to 50 agents and say, hey guys, it looked like we went on 50 appointments last month, yet we only took, you know, 22 listings, right? So that is what I would consider below average. Are we having you know, or do we need to work on our scripts? Do we need to work on our dialogues? Do we need to up the amount of role play you do each day, right? So I can look at your specific, you know, stats and make recommendations, and I can look at everything kind of globally. And that could also dictate, and oftentimes it does dictate, what the themes of the morning sessions are and what the pop-up classes are and these kind of things. Okay, so I've done most of the talking so far. Share with me what's on your mind. What questions do you have? What did I not cover, etc.
Bill, the fiscal year cap, you said is 10,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, any deals that we would gain while in the program, it's 10% of each deal
That's correct.
that we will have to, okay.
10% comes off the top. That's the first thing to be taken.
Okay. All right. I just
Right.
wanted to make
So
sure.
if you earn a $10,000 commission check, $1,000 would go to me.
Okay.
And I'll come back to that because that's not perfectly true. I'll go into a tiny bit more detail about that.
Okay.
Yes, that's the short and sweet of it. Is 10% comes off of the top.
Gotcha.
So there would never be a transaction that I got paid that you didn't just get paid 9 times as much as me. Right? Does that make sense? So if I get 1,000, it's because you got 9,000. Make sense? Now we do have many of you guys know we're part of the Georgia Legacy Group, which is a group of 3 KW offices: Roswell, Alpharetta, and Peachtree Corners, which is also called Chattahoochee North. And there's a director of productivity for the 3 offices that I basically report to and I coach with each week. Now, he does ultimately take a portion of the 10%, so it's technically I'm not getting the whole amount, just for full disclosure. But you know, there's plenty of support from him and his team, so it's a good relationship for everybody. So we also have a couple of overlays each week that all agents in productivity coaching, regardless of which office you're at, are able to attend. There's an advanced skill development once a week. There's a social media class once a week. There is a tech session once a week with Sam Jackson, who's our Director of Technology and Innovation. And there is also a scripts and dialogues session each week as well. Okay. There is also what we call a high accountability group session. That is from 10 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's all separate Zoom links, or at least the Georgia Legacy Group stuff is separate. All of our programming is same link every time. Just this room, my private Google or private Zoom room. Okay. Now, the high accountability group is you come in and you basically go around in a circle, and it's what have you done in the last 2 days to earn a client, and what do you intend to do over the next 2 days to earn a client, right? So it's high accountability. Everyone, you get ideas from everyone else, and you get an opportunity to share what you're up to. Okay. Now, there is no requirement that you participate in any of this stuff. Okay. It's totally up to you. What we find is the people who engage more have better results. Now, I probably should have started with this, but I'm glad it popped into my head right now, which is you're probably not expecting the productivity coach to say this, but I'll go ahead and say it. You have joined the #1 training organization in the world. Okay. We have world-class technology. We have agent mentors. We have curriculums every single day. We got Agent Leadership Council. We got leadership that loves what they do, right? And they love pouring into you guys. I sincerely believe that if you were to come into this office and follow the model, right? Do what successful agents do, you could have great success without productivity coaching. Productivity coaching is a accelerator. Okay. We know that with more accountability, you're going to have better results. So what I'm trying to do is get you to think bigger and get what you want faster, right? And the potential for you to get distracted or not to have a community of people that are there all the time to support you can get in the way of your goals. And in our business, it could be pretty expensive, right? Those distractions can be very expensive. Or a lack of a system where somebody tells you, hey, call me in July, I'll buy then, and you can't figure out a way to make sure that happens, that could cost you a lot of money, right? So I don't want you to hear that without productivity coaching, you're going to fail. It's not true at all. Okay. Everything works if you work. Nothing works if you don't work. Okay. It's that simple. So somebody says, well, do I have to cold call people? Say, look, you don't have to do anything. Okay. However, if whatever you're planning to do in order to grow this business is not spitting out enough appointments so that you can hit your financial goals, then you might want to reconsider how you're finding your appointments. And if cold calling could help, it might be something you look into. But I'm not here to tell you exactly how to run your business. You get to decide that. I just hold your hand and make sure you're operating as efficiently and as effectively and using the technology, and you show up every day. Okay. Everything is recorded. Some of the GLG stuff is not recorded, but all of our events are recorded. And they're all updated pretty much every day to the YouTube channel. So if, for example, you got some type of commitment in the mornings and you can't come, I don't want that to stop you from being a part of the organization. You can still take advantage of the tech resources and the one-on-one coaching and the community and go back every night and watch that video. Make sense? Okay, what other thoughts or questions do we have? Boy, you guys are quiet. Did I cover every single little bit of every possible question you had?
You did. You're awesome. I have another question about the leads that the product coaching can possibly provide. How thorough and effective are those leads, to some of the other agents?
When you say leads, what are you referring to?
Like first time buyer leads, the ones that I guess that are falling through the cracks or what have you. You mentioned before that you have access to those individuals. I guess how effective are those to some of the other agents that may have used that?
Yeah, so I don't want to get too much into the weeds on this, but it's really more the data than what I would call a lead.
Gotcha.
Right. It's not necessarily somebody that has raised their hand, come to us and is looking for me to assign a realtor to them. Right. This is somebody who may have just had a listing expire, or maybe they're trying to sell their home themselves, or maybe they live by a home that you have a listing at or an open house at. So some of these leads are fairly warm and some are ice cold. Right.
Gotcha. So just more of an opportunity, you know.
Yeah, that's a better word.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause lead implies that like all you got to do is go in there and smile and sign paperwork.
Yeah.
Right.
Understood.
That's not, we're a good bit away from that. The opportunities, yeah, I mean, we picked that site, Vulcan 7, because that's considered to be the premier site for that data, right? People are doing what's called circle prospecting all the time, with calling around neighborhoods and inviting them to the open houses, or inviting them to a home buyer seminar, or inviting them to show up early for a, you know, neighbors only, you know, hour of the open house, that kind of stuff. It's I really don't like saying it this way, but it's so true, is it's a numbers game, guys. It's like, if I wanted to go on a date on Saturday night and I asked one woman and she said, no, I'm not going on any dates. But if I ask 100 women, somebody's going to say yes. Right? It's just a matter of like, how much are you willing to do? Are you comfortable with the monotony of success? Right? Are you more, what are you more committed to? The life you got or the life you want to have? And I'm not saying that your life now is not exactly what it should be. I'm just saying, if you want to be in a different place from a quality of life standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from a mindset standpoint, from a you know, opportunity standpoint, you're going to have to tweak a few things. And it's most likely going to come down to clarity on why we're doing what we're doing, right? The desire that you bring to the table and the commitment you have to just play all in, right? So Tanisha, this is a bit of a vague response, but they're all opportunities, right? And basically everyone that you see out in the marketplace is a potential client of yours, because they all got to live somewhere, right? They either own the home they live in, or they rent the home they live in. And if you continue to deliver the specific value that that man or woman needs, and whatever amount of time it takes for them to move, you could be the one that gets paid as a result. Right? So, you know, some people get confused with, you know, let's say somebody just bought a home. You would say, well, and I gave you their contact information. Say, hey, here's Joanne Mahoney. She just bought a home. Say, that's no opportunity. Well, you don't know anything else. You don't know anything. Maybe she had a lousy experience with her agent and she's looking for a new person to speak with, right? Well, she's not buying for 8 years, or she's not selling for 8 years. I don't care. Okay. She works with people. She, you know, goes to church. She goes to this networking group. She's a business owner. She's out there in the marketplace. And if she likes you, then you have an opportunity to grow your business with her help. So some opportunities will result in a fairly fast paycheck, and some may never. Okay. Do you know how many leads my mother has given me in 15 and a half years? 1. And they wanted to pay 1%. Okay. So I'm not relying on her to help me build my business. I got to go out there and secure it for myself. I love you, but you haven't exactly been, you know, my biggest cheerleader. Does that make sense? All right, what else is on your mind, guys?
If we sign up for the coaching and then we're so successful that we have to take a break from it because we can't attend all the meetings or do everything that you know, are setting us up for success, then can we leave and come back?
Yeah, absolutely.
At a later point?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way you phrase that, by the way. You know, you're thinking positively. I love that. Yes, you could take a break and come back. If I put my coaching hat on for a second, my response to that would be, that is probably the reason why you need it even more, though. right? Because now you're dealing with a different set of challenges and a different pressure and strain on your time and a different strain on your systems and your use of technology and your daily schedule, and like it's a whole different world, right? So that you probably need you might need different coaching, or we may talk about different stuff, but I don't want you to think that if you miss a class or you miss a week of class that you don't belong in the program anymore, right? It might be the thing that's like, hey, take a week off, no big deal. I got it. You got a vacation. You're overrun, whatever. Come back and let's still do our 15-minute call just to make sure everything's cool. So understand that at every point in your business as you're developing, you're going to have challenges, right? There's going to be things that need to be celebrated, and there's going to be things that you're trying to figure out. I mean, I have 2 coaches now. I had 2 coaches when I was the team leader, and you know, I'm always looking for people that have been where I currently am, and also people that are where I want to be, so that they can help navigate me, right? And say, hey, you might be thinking about doing it this way. I did that, and it cost me $100 grand and 2 years out of my life, and I just tell you that that's a bad idea. Why don't you do it this way? Well, damn, I guess coaching's not all that bad of an investment. You see what I'm saying? But the short answer to your question, Joanne, is yes. If you need to take a break, we have an agent that left recently for to take a little personal time, came back about 2 months later and right back at it, right? No big deal, no hard feelings. You know, all of our discussions, hopefully it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, are confidential. I never drop any names or anything like that. You know, we have agents that are navigating a lot of stuff, right? I mean, this has been a tough year, right? We've got social justice stuff going on. We've got political stuff going on. We've got people that are behind on their payments or switching jobs, and they're stressed, and their kids are virtual learning and all this stuff. And so we've got to find the balance. And I'm learning this also, right? How to find the balance between giving our people grace, yet reminding them that they're here for a reason, right? I get it that your kids are virtual schooling, but you told me you need to make this amount or you won't be able to keep your house. So walk me through what we should be focused on right now, right? I'm not telling you to ignore your kids. I'm just giving you a gut check to make sure that I'm not missing something here. You see what I'm saying? Cool. So next steps, guys, would be I send you Lee Fox, who's our Assistant Market Center Administrator, sends you the productivity coaching contract. Like I said, it's a 2-page agreement. It's all done through DocuSign. If you have any specific questions about the contract, please obviously reach out to me. And we can get all that stuff answered, go to as much detail as you want. If there are transactions that are either pending or active buyer or seller agreements that you have that would cause the fee to be a little less on those deals, there's space on the contract for you to detail out the addresses or who the client's names are. And basically right after we get commitment, I send you over all the logins and passwords and links and all that kind of stuff. So you can begin to look through the Google Drive, so you can begin to study the videos. I send out a weekly email, which kind of summarizes the week that we just finished and the week ahead. We release the schedule every week. I'm about to send that out probably later tonight for the next week. And then, of course, in addition, we'll set up our 15-minute weekly session. We'll do that right away. And then the other thing that we need to do is have a little private time to go through your specific plan. So Zach, I'm just throwing out numbers here, okay? If Zach has a desire to make $110,000 and Joanne has a desire to make $140,000 and Scott has a desire to make $40,000, then you all are going to have slightly different daily activities and require different plans. Okay, all those are possible. Whatever number you want is possible. There are people literally selling multiple thousands home a year. Okay, the #1 agent at Keller Williams this year will make over $20 million in commissions. Y'all hear that? Okay, business can do, and I mean, he's like a savant. He's like a different human being altogether. But he was a cable guy, right? I don't mean any offense to any cable layers, but like this business is not for like only for the people that went to like this school and got this grade and studied this. Okay. You simply have to walk in the door and say, hey, Bill, what are all the happy, successful agents doing? Because that's what I want to do. And then I show you how to do it. I hold you accountable, and then you get all the results. And we win together, right? So if you're not winning, I'm not winning. It doesn't do anyone any good for you to buy a name tag and say, I work at Keller Williams and not sell anything. That doesn't serve you or me or your family or Aubrey or any of us. Make sense? Any final thoughts, questions? Did we cover all the things that you were hoping to learn about today?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Do you have any, speaking of the top producer that you just mentioned, the #1 producer, do you have any statistics on what percentage of top producers are in your program?
Oh, I wish I could tell you that Ben Kinney was in my program, but he's not. Ben, he's out of Bellingham, Washington. He's just an amazing guy. As far as agents that are in my program that have successful statistics and that kind of stuff, we're getting there. I mean, quite honestly, we have a lot of people that are brand new to the program. We have hovered around 12 to 13% of the company dollar. Company dollar is the number of dollars that come into the brokerage, right? Each month, we've hovered around about 12 to 13% of the company dollar that comes in on a monthly basis is coming in from agents within the program. I'm spending time every day with agents, making sure that, we're super basic, right? We're building listing presentations, buyer presentations, learning how to comp property. But we absolutely have had people that, have had closings, quickly, some within 30 days, some that have multiple deals under contract. If you would like to speak with any of those people and hear what their experience has been, and if it's been helpful, I'm more than happy to facilitate that. We do have Kathy Ray, who's one of our agent mentors. She's in the program. She and I have worked together for a long time. We have a couple of cappers in the program, a couple of ALC members in the program. So, everyone at a variety of levels of performance basically has one big thing they need to be focused on, right? Is it technology? Is it your database? Is it a presentation? Is it a script? And our job is to make sure that we tend to that immediate need as quickly as we can, so they can go out into the marketplace and secure opportunities, right? This is the easiest low-paying job you'll ever have, and it's also one of the hardest high-paying jobs you'll ever have. Okay, and there's just so much potential in this business. I mean, literally, if I were to go to any of you guys and say, hey, if you go on one appointment a week, and you convert at the ratios that we would expect you to convert at, and you study these things, right? This is what you're going to say to all these people, right? You go on one appointment a week, you'll easily make 6 figures. Is there anybody that wouldn't take that job? Like, that's your job right now, right? You have the license. You're part of the #1 training organization in the world. We got $1 billion tech platform. You got 280 people around you that want to see you be successful, right? You got leaders every direction you look. That's your job, right? And you're either going to be committed to building what you're dreaming about, or you're going to allow a bunch of stuff to get in the way, right? And we're all dealing with, we're chatting with one woman in the program now who's like, she got COVID, and it was really, really bad. I mean, she's basically been sidelined for like almost 3 months, right? Like, we're dealing with like energy challenges, right? There's people that are having, marital issues and, depression issues. And, I'm not necessarily trained in, all that stuff, but, it's not as easy as you might think, right? You're going to deal with there's going to be some high highs and some low lows, right? But the greatest way to overcome that stuff is to have a partner, Make sense? All right, you guys, I'm super grateful for your time. I want to recognize everyone for the hard work you've done to get to this moment, whether it be you just passed your test or you just found Roswell's office. And I'm super grateful for the opportunity to hopefully be a part of your journey. And I'm looking forward to watching all you guys, think big and get some awesome results. So I'll send everyone a copy of the contract. Again, as soon as you sign it, we will schedule some time to work through your models privately and our 15-minute coaching call and send you all the information you need to start right away and get you into the WhatsApp groups. And again, I'm super grateful for the opportunity to spend some time with you today. Y'all have an awesome afternoon.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.